Now for our meditation. Holy mystery, silent presence, uncertain bearer of the weight of it all. In these quiet moments, we listen. We listen for the maybe still breathing, perhaps still whispering, faintest sign of the universal good. We listen between the cacophony of distractions, pulling us towards untruth and falsehood. We listen amidst the shrill cries of desperation, of we've had enough, or when they stop killing my people, of how much more will the waters rise, of when will it be safe to return to my home, or how much longer can I hang on? We listen and we wait. Through the tumult of these days, we seek assurance. We seek the fulfillment of a promise made to ourselves, a promise made to those we have been stretched to call neighbor, a promise made, written and enshrined and yet unfulfilled. Help us, abiding mystery, to hang on, to hold on when all is in question, when all is in doubt. Help us stay firm to our own commitments and our own promises. Lead us back into connection, back into the bonds of humanity that help us know each other as beloved. May we continue listening. May we keep watch. May we beckon love and justice and mercy with our own whispers, with our shouts, with our cries, until all know themselves a part of the circle of love. Amen. Take a few moments, and if you can, take a few moments for what is going on in Chicago, to the children, women, men. Just take a moment. We have a guest speaker today, Amy K. Watson. She is going to be talking to us about us riding the waves in this turbulent time, which we are. So I would like to welcome Amy. And also after she speaks, I would like to do a question and answering as well. So I'll be able to take the mic around, so she'll be able to answer any questions. So Amy, welcome. You go.
There we go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we
Awesome.
can.
Thank you. Hi, it's so wonderful to be with you this morning. I want to invite you to imagine that you are standing on the beach. You've waded into the surf. The water is at your ankles and then your knees, your waist, and now it has covered your heart. The sand beneath your feet shifts. And that's where we are right now as a church, as a people. When you started out, maybe you weren't sure if the tide was going out or coming in, but now you know it's coming in. The waves are climbing, the water getting deeper without you having to move an inch. A wave hits, soaking your hair. Another hits before you've caught your breath from the last one. Waves don't just crash randomly. They follow the pull of the moon. And our lives, too, are tugged by forces we can't see. Macroeconomics, history, policy, egos, grief, nihilism, joy. The waves keep coming, And we keep breathing, even when the water reaches our hearts. Politically, societally, economically, the waters are churning. We see it in the ways the Trump administration is leveraging the government shutdown. We see it in threats to free speech and military presence in our cities, and in the devastating conflict unfolding in Gaza, leaving families torn apart, leaving countless lives in peril. Children are crying themselves to sleep, not knowing when they will see their parents again. Young men who have turned nihilistic, who are lonely their whole life online, and they've turned to believing in nothing, nothing to lose, full of hatred that turns into irrevocable violence. Some of us are losing health insurance while billionaires are buying their third yacht. Many of us are watching the rights we built our lives upon, marriage, healthcare, even the right to vote, are being chipped away. That's not abstract. That's flesh and blood. That's our neighbors. That's some of us sitting here right now. Some of us are wondering how to pay the rent. Some of us are wondering if the pain and the brokenness in our bodies and in our minds and in our hearts will ever heal. Some of us are tired from serving on 3 committees because there aren't enough hands to go around. Some of us are so worn out we barely made it here this morning. Some of us are standing in these waves right now. Wave after wave after wave. The waves keep coming and we keep breathing. Just a few weeks ago, we witnessed a wave in the form of political violence. As I prepared this sermon, I found myself wholly unequipped to speak to what happened. But I knew that what happened is a part of the storm, not an aberration. David French, an opinion columnist with the New York Times, offered a perspective that really resonated with me. America has a political violence problem. And one of the things that feeds it is when our partisan blinders convince us that my community is the one completely under siege and your community are the ones besieging it. That mindset only causes us to double down on this apocalyptic vision that stokes visions of civil war. That's everything he said. Violence only creates more waves, deeper currents, stronger storms. It isn't Trumpism that's creating the storm. The storm is tossing all of us in its waves, left and right, with and without higher education. People wearing red hats are suffering in the storm. They too are victims of it. So here we are, all of us, red hats and blue t-shirts alike, standing in these rising waters together. What does it feel like in the waves? Sometimes it's like standing in the depths of the surf, each wave that hits taking your breath away. Sometimes it's like being pulled out by a rip current, and as you're drawn under the surface, you can't tell in what direction is the shore. The spiritual question is not whether the waves will come. We know they will. The question we must grapple with is this: what do we do when they come? Do we thrash in panic, burn all our energy, and go under? Do we numb out, floating aimlessly until we drift too far from one another? Or do we find a way to ride the waves together? I'd like to tell a story. A few years back, I met a woman named Sharon Udo. She grew up hating her Blackness in a fundamentalist home while attending a white school. Over the years, she learned to claim her worth She told me that she had experienced tons of transformations within herself as she slowly let go and moved past the barriers that held her back from herself. Now, in the context of this background, she told me that when she saw the footage from Charlottesville, those tiki torches, the young men chanting hate, something unexpected rose up within her. Compassion. They're just scared, she thought. So she started talking to conservatives. At a Starbucks, she asked a man, "What do you think about Black Lives Matter?" And he said, "That doesn't really affect me. I don't know Black people." Now, for Sharon, this felt like the opposite of being seen. She told me she wanted to smack him, but she didn't. She stayed. She listened. That moment, choosing presence instead of fury, choosing connection over disconnection, that gave her an audience with him. It built a bridge. Even though it caused her pain, it allowed her to influence his life. Not to convert, but to nudge, to, to be a Black person he knows who isn't scary, who isn't trying to take anything away from him, but is nonetheless real. Sharon didn't just practice presence, she built something. Over months of these conversations, she created a network of unlikely connections. She developed skills in bridge building and started teaching them to others. Each difficult conversation became a small victory, not in changing minds, but in proving to herself that she could stay present even in the hardest moments. That's what it looks like to ride a wave without letting it drag you under. The waves keep coming, but so does liberating love. It stays present, even when we want to run. I think about another kind of presence I've witnessed, the kind that transforms institutions, not just individuals. Now, some of you may know of Middle Collegiate Church through their Freedom Rising conference, or maybe through their minister, Jackie Lewis. Middle has been my spiritual home for 5 years now, and its heartbeat is fierce love. Not polite love, not private love, but fierce love, the kind that shows up in public and takes risks. After George Floyd's murder, and as the pandemic laid bare the realities of economic inequality, Middle didn't just hold vigils or issue statements. The leaders asked, if we believe in fierce love, how do we prove it? What would it mean to embody reparations, not just talk about them? And so they made a radical choice to tithe their own budget, to take 1/10 of every dollar and give it away. Now, we're not used to tithing. I grew up a Southern Baptist. Tithing was a big part of what we did. Even I'm not used to tithing anymore. But of what they tithed, half went to housing assistance for neighborhoods losing unemployment benefits so they wouldn't be evicted. The other half went to programs for queer, Black, and brown teens and to anti-racism training for young people. Now, that choice wasn't easy. Their budgets were already stretched, and people wondered if the church could make it work. But the decision kept 47 families in their homes during the pandemic. It graduated new cohorts of anti-racism trainers who are now leading in other congregations, and it sent a message. Fierce love isn't just a feeling, it's action. It's presence made concrete. Years ago, when I was moving from a job where I had thrived into truly uncharted territory, As I made the journey towards that new workplace, I started to grieve. I missed my people. I missed the predictability, but I missed those connections. And I remember crying and through the tears, writing to my old boss about how homesick I felt. She wrote back, just stay focused on what's working well. Well, I trusted her, so I tried, and it changed things. I started noticing clean, fresh hotel rooms, the kindness of strangers, the talent in my colleagues. I was still homesick for the predictability of the way things used to be, but gratitude steadied me enough to ride the waves. I didn't just survive that transition, I learned to thrive in uncertainty. I developed skills in adapting to new environments that serve me still. The homesickness itself became a kind of teacher. That exchange taught me something that I now use in my work as a leadership coach. The leaders who survive these storms aren't the ones with all the answers. They're the ones who can stay present to what's working, even while acknowledging what's hard. Sometimes after I speak, someone will reach out asking for coaching, saying that they're leading through impossible circumstances. They've been trying to show up with both accountability and empathy, but they're running on empty. What they're really asking is, how do I keep doing this without losing myself? So I want to share with you some tools that we can use in the storm, because all of these stories I've been sharing with you share something in common. They all embody these tools that we can use when the waves are rising, such as a practice of gratitude. Gratitude is like the surfboard that keeps us above the water, something solid beneath us when everything else is churning. Not because everything is fine, but because if we only notice what's wrong, we sink. So gratitude balances the view. Another tool that we can use is the practice of appreciation. We appreciate those paddling beside us, those sacrificing their own peace of mind to keep us afloat. And we can also practice presence, being open and willing, even when we want to smack someone. It's staying in the water together when every instinct says, get away from me. Another practice that helps is that of ritual, singing, gathering, even tithing, lighting candles, telling stories. These are the rhythmic strokes that pull us back to the surface and toward one another when the current tries to drown and scatter us across the ocean. Even neuroscience shines a light on the power of ritual because when we sing together, our hearts sync up. Another practice is simply holding one another's pain. When someone's gasping, to swim closer. When they're being pulled under by grief or fear, to grab their hand and don't let go. To become the lifeline. Finally, we also practice accomplishment, not the hollow pursuit of success, but the deep satisfaction of building something that lasts. When we register voters, give housing assistance, fund anti-racism training, mentor a young person, create a community garden, we are riding the waves by moving forward together. Each small victory reminding us that we are not powerless against the storm. Gratitude is our surfboard, presence is our anchor, ritual keeps our hearts in rhythm, but hear this, the waves will still come. Sharon stayed. Middle church gave. My boss spoke one sentence and gratitude steadied me. When the water rises to your knees, to your hips, to your heart, What will you do? Will you thrash? Will you drift? Or will you choose to renounce your silence? The waves keep coming, but so does liberating love. The waves keep coming, but so does our song. The waves keep coming, and we are still here, still breathing, still standing together. My friends, storms will keep coming, but we are not alone. So breathe deep, hold on, and let the spirit of liberating love carry us through the storm. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. Gotta
Thank
do
you all
some-
so much.
Thank you. I thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
You hear me. So we so appreciate you being here and speaking to us, and we appreciate the toolbox. She's in the camera. She's in the camera. Appreciate the toolbox, you know, all the strategies. I'm right here.
Brains.
I don't know, I'm like one to, anyway. So really, really, truly, thank you for taking the time to come and speak to us today, and okay, all right, okay.
Many
Thank
thanks
you.
to you. Thank you, Stacy, for your support. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, am I looking in the right direction? Okay. Okay. So, gonna do closing, and then if we still want to talk about this afterwards, we can. Okay, so here are my closing words. In the river, the water continually flows on, yet the river is ever there. Our lives flow on in endless song, yet life and joy shall never end. Anybody wants to join in the circle? Come on up.